live stream for Monday Night Raw, or should I say the Tuesday night reaction to Monday Night Raw, if that makes any sense. So basically, I've been telling subscribers this for a little while, that I'm having to move the live stream now for work and personal and other very strange reasons, which you guys don't need to know about, to a Tuesday, at least for the time being, instead of doing it straight after Monday Night Raw itself. Yeah, as I say, there's just no way that I can actually watch it now. Unless, of course, I've got the day off. If I've got the day off, then yes, I will do like a live stream after Raw, but at the moment, not a possibility. So I'm going to be doing basically a late Monday Night Raw on Tuesday sort of reaction. Well, series, episode, whatever you want to call it. Same as the SmackDown one, which obviously is on Saturday, because again, I have a lovely but very tiring 12-year-old running around in the house at the minute. And yeah, that's got to be on Saturday nights basically. So yeah, we can still talk about wrestling, but just not after Monday. Although, in saying that, I have just got some breaking news. So WWE's in Australia, pretty much. I think they're flying out tonight or tomorrow or something like that, as in the whole Raw and SmackDown crew. Rhea's already over there. I think Cody might be there already because he wasn't on Raw. I think they're doing promotion. Rhea's definitely doing promotion over there. So I can't watch Crown Jewel because I've got a birthday this weekend. However, I can actually now watch Monday Night Raw, funnily enough, this Monday live, because it's actually on at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the UK, which is awesome because none of my family are going to be in the house next Monday afternoon. So there is a chance I might even be able to do a watch along of the whole episode, but I'll have a think and let you guys know what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, I will definitely be able to do a live reaction. So that live reaction will be about 3:30 in the afternoon, which is genius for me because I can actually watch it in peace and quiet. But yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. Just to say to you guys as well, obviously you all know that YouTube. Try again. This will be on YouTube podcasts, and this will be on YouTube video at some point. I've got another video loading at the moment, so it's probably not going to be till tomorrow night, but we'll go from there. And then I'm going to try and do a preview of Crown Jewel as well. Like I said, I'm going to miss Crown Jewel and SmackDown because I've got a birthday to go to for the whole weekend, basically. And I've got a load of other filming bits that I'm doing, live streams for football grounds and stuff. But yeah, I'll definitely be able to watch Monday Night Raw in Australia next week, so that'll be cool. The start. No, 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 no. Hi, Johnny, you're all right, pal. Yeah, so we'll get into it. Right, if you're wondering, folks, obviously most of you know this, why I keep turning my head that way, it's because I'm looking at my laptop. There was a boatload of stuff on Monday Night Raw. Obviously, I'm so excited to talk about this, way better than that horrible live stream earlier. Due to various reasons, which I will possibly go into later, possibly not go into later, because I'm extremely annoyed about it, to say the least. But yes, I will divulge that later. Hi, Sol, you're all right. So yeah, first things first out the gate, Monday Night Raw was freaking awesome. In my opinion, I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but it was the best Monday Night Raw for me of this year. I thought it was absolutely fantastic from start to finish. I don't necessarily know if everyone agrees with me about that from what I've heard on social media, but I thought it reminded me a lot of the Attitude Era. Not obviously it's never going to be as good as Attitude Era in my opinion, but I just thought it was non-stop entertainment. There were a couple of fudges here and there, but Raw was brilliant last week, and I thought this week they outdid themselves. And fair play to Triple H and all the writing crew and everything. I thought it was thoroughly entertaining. So it came from Dallas, Texas, and we started off with Roman and the Bronson Reed sort of promo battle. Yes, I don't think that happened, mate, but I would pay good money to see that, to be fair. But yeah, we had the Roman Bronson Reed promo, which ended with the classic line that Roman delivered to Paul Heyman and to Bronson Reed. And I am going to swear for once, because it's in context, and it's not really a swear word, but it kind of is. Um, Bronson and Heyman basically dig out Roman, have a go at him on the mic, and they're about to leave, and they say goodnight to everyone. And Roman's like something along the lines of, um, "You've got all these power plays and stuff, and this, that, and the other." And he says, "Really, all I see is a bunch of bitches." And then basically Bronson Reed heard that and went mental, well, obviously storyline wise, and basically charged Roman, and they had a whole bust up, and obviously referees and everyone came out to stop it. The usual stuff that they do when there's a schmoz or a brawl. But I just thought it was a great way to start off. And Roman, like the crowd was so hot for him because obviously he's been doing Street Fighter for about 4 or 5 weeks. So I'm guessing he's done with Street Fighter unless they've done reshoots or whatever. I think Cody's done with Street Fighter in Guile. We're doing Guile as well as Street Fighter. I'm not totally sure. But yeah, it was a really good way of starting. The next thing that happened was there was this whole thing with Kairi Sane and Oscar, where they were having a back and forth about can we not get Io Sky back into the group? We're family. And then Oscar went mental with Io Sky and Io Sky and Kairi Sane and basically slapped her. And this slap was absolutely outrageous. I don't know if she actually made Kyrie bleed a little bit. I don't know if it was the angle I was watching on TV, because I had family wandering in and out and getting in the way and stuff, so maybe I've misseen it or whatever. But I thought she drew blood. This slap honestly was absolutely outrageous. A fair play for Kyrie for taking that. But yeah, that sort of sets up the Io Sky and Kairi Sane matchup later on in the night. The first match was dear God. Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree. My heart sank initially when I heard this. I was just like, I thought that this was going to be. I thought that they were joking when it was going to be Maxine and Becky again, because I'm sorry, I did not like the first match, and I'm really sorry. I usually am quite positive about most of the wrestlers, but we've all got ones that we don't particularly care for, and I'm sorry, I'm not a fan from what I've seen of Maxine Dupree in the slightest, to be honest. The first half of the match was as poor as a wrestling match as I've ever seen. I mean, Dupree kept missing her kicks. There were bits where she went to go and hit Bex, and you could clearly see air in between the punching and stuff. There was one bit where it got downright dangerous because I'm trying to think what it was. I think she tried to flip Becky over her back or something, and even not knowing a lot about wrestling, you could tell like, whoa, what are you doing there? And I thought Bex was going to go mental with her because it looked really dangerous, this throw that she did. However, one thing I will say, the second half of that match was absolutely bloody fantastic. And do you know what? Fair play to Maxine Dupree for coming back from that, because I thought it was an appalling start, to be honest. Becky was obviously leading her through the match. They've obviously asked Lynch if they can push Maxine Dupree. Obviously, you don't want to be rude, but I'm trying to think of a way of saying this in 2025. There isn't a way I can say it, really. It probably would be good for WWE to push Maxine Dupree, given the opportunities given by her appearance. And now I'm aware that's a bit harsh because I'm not usually one of those lads at all. But I just look at a skill set and I'm just like, I mean, I can't really see another reason why you do. But to be fair to Maxine, credit to the girl, she was really good in the second half of that match. Also, as well, a bit random, but credit to the referee. Those 3 counts that he did were absolutely amazing, where he got his hand just before the canvas. I thought that was awesome. It was really good. Shout out to the ref for that. The ending was a bit weird in respect of it was a count out victory, and Becky sort of we were meant to believe that Maxine snuck past her while she was giving it large to the crowd, and then went, "Oh look, Maxine's won. She was behind me all the time," and I was like, "Really?" It was a good way of making Bex not look weak, but at the same time, it made her look like a bit of an idiot. I mean, how on earth can you miss a 6-foot blonde lady flying past you? Like, you know what I mean? I just thought it was really weird, but to be honest, but do you know what? Fair play to Bex for making the match work, and actually fair play to Maxine Dupree. Hopefully she can improve. I know she's still young. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh on her, but I just thought the first half of the match, I mean, I thought she was borderline dangerous with a couple of those moves, and the second time, the second half of the match was really good, so fair play to both of them. Match of the night straight away was next. Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez. I thought this match was outstanding, and just shout out to Raquel Rodriguez, Bailey, Roxanne Perez, and Lyra, because obviously they've been working together for like the last I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, and I've been thoroughly entertained by the whole thing. I love the Bailey storyline. I think it's awesome, and I just want to give a shout out to Roxanne Perez. She is. I'd be tempted to say she's one of the top 5 best wrestlers in the world, and it's not me being at the moment. It's not me using hyperbole. I'm so impressed with that young woman. She is absolutely brilliant. It's like she's an old school wrestler. She targets a body part, manipulates it. Her psychology is absolutely awesome. And Lyra, shout out to her for selling the manipulation of the joints that she was doing. Not like that, smart asses, before anyone said anything. Although you never know, I don't know. But yeah, it was an absolutely fantastic match. Thoroughly enjoyed it. 10 out of 10, lights out, 5-star match, whatever you want to call it. Perez went over. And just shout out to both women, especially Roxanne Perez. If you've not seen it, guys, I usually do a recommendation, but please go see that match because I thought it was absolutely brilliant, in my opinion. And then they carried on the storyline with Bailey. She got knocked over in the match, and it was like that Incredible Hulk thing again when Banner turns into the Hulk. Bailey just went completely Green Range monster. And like Lyra could barely even move, but she's dragging her along, and then basically saying, she's just like, let's go and get these blah 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 blahs. And then they revisited that a bit later on. I'm just trying to see the timeline. Yeah, it was a bit weird because they went from segment to segment to segment. So straight after that, they went to AJ Styles being confronted by the Judgment Day, which was so cool because I don't know if anyone knows the Bullet Club. I'm assuming if wrestling fans, and obviously leave it in the comments afterwards or whatever, but I'm assuming most wrestling fans know that Finn Balor and AJ Styles were in the Bullet Club in Japan. And anytime those two together, like they had a match in WWE about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, absolutely freaking awesome. It was brilliant, loved it. And when Balor had the interaction with AJ, it was just like wow for like the nerd wrestling fans. It was very, very cool. But then they went into. It was really weird. They kept going from segment to segment to segment. I'm trying to find where the Lyra and Bailey thing was. I don't know if I've missed it. I may have missed it. Which is really not helpful. Oh no, I missed it. So AJ Styles goes to find a partner. All this has happened in the space of 10 minutes, because it was Don Mysterio and Finn Balor against AJ Styles, and he said Dragon Lee would help, but then he was like, "Well, I need a third partner," so they went over to get Penta. Penta's like, yeah, man, I'm going to help along. Then all of a sudden, like, there's this commotion in the background. And then it was Roxanne Perez again with Raquel against Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. And fair play to those women. They were laying their stuff in, like, absolutely bloody brilliantly. I was just, do you know, it reminds me of one of those backstage segments back in the day that you used to have in the Attitude Era. I thought it was awesome. So, like I said, they were the MVPs last night for me. Bailey, Lyra, Roxanne, and Raquel. The work they did last night was absolutely outstanding, and they're going to have a tag match, which I'll get into at WWE Australia on Raw. But I will talk to you about that in a minute because I might have some good news about that. But yeah, it was all 4 of those women. Shout out to them; they were absolutely brilliant. And carrying on from this as well, there was also CM Punk when he came out, and I don't know if anyone's noticed. Sorry, I'll get to the comments in a minute and stuff, but I don't know if anyone's noticed this thing that they're doing on WWE at the minute, which I thought was a bit weird, but then I actually kind of liked. So CM Punk was walking to the ring, but in the background you could see Rusev shouting at Adam Pearce, and Punk sort of smirked and walked off. And when they started doing that, because they've done it a few times with the New Day and Grace and Waller and I don't know, Oscar and Becky Lynch and so on and so forth. And at the start, I was like, I'm not sure about that, but I actually think it's quite good, to be fair, because when they have these people, it kind of links into stuff that happens later on to the evening. So fair play again to the writers. I thought that was really, really cool. I'll get into probably my favourite segment of the night in a second, but just want to shout out. Johnny, I miss Bray Wyatt. Oh, dude, I miss him every single day, mate. I'm not ashamed to admit I cried the entire morning when Bray Wyatt died. He was, at the time, top three of my favourite wrestlers in the world. He was a brilliant man. He was a brilliant wrestler. He was a loving father. So creative. And he was just a decent, kind... I'm nearly getting emotional myself here now. He was just a lovely, kind, talented, decent man who loved his children and his wife, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, Bray Wyatt was, when he died, what, 8 years younger than I am, 7 years? And funnily enough, it was not funny at all, but that was the night when I went to AEW All In at Wembley Arena, mate. And there was this bloke who was wandering around in a Bray Wyatt outfit. And he walked in front of like the main stage and he got a standing ovation and everyone was singing He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. And honestly, I'm sat there because I usually go to the wrestling events on my own so I can cover them and stuff and this, that and the other, which I know sounds a bit weird, but I know it's a really, really horrible thing to say, but I have been with a few of my mates quite a few times and I'm trying to watch the wrestling for this sort of thing. And whereas if I go with the lads, they are more interested in drinking and some of the female performers, which is fine because I used to be like that as well, but it's not particularly helpful for me when I'm having to write a crib sheet out of what's happened, basically, when one of the lads is like lobbing beer over me and this, that and the other. So I usually do these things on my own. But yeah, why was I talking about that for? Yeah, because the Bray Wyatt thing, it was yeah, like, honestly, I miss him every single day. Near enough, he's one of my favourite wrestlers of all time. I was talking about this with someone earlier with the wrestling top 10. I did forget to mention Bray Wyatt, but now I think about it, he's one of my top 10 all timers. The gimmick was fantastic. Their songs were fantastic. His moveset was so good. The original Wyatt family was a revelation at that time. Yeah, so shout out to Bray Wyatt, as always. When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high, absolutely. I've just popped over from London to invite you for a game of footy tomorrow, but you will be tough. You think you'll win? Lights, flare, peak, Robert Carla. So I can speak to the best YouTuber alive. Oh, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Always appreciated, dude. Cheers. So yeah, the next segment was this bizarre but really good bizarre segment with CM Punk, LA Knight, and the Usos. I'm going to try and see if I can remember this off the top of my head because it was quite Christopher Nolan Inceptionist at one point, basically. But Punk comes out, he's cutting his promo. By the way, anyone watching afterwards or in the comments, just let me know if you caught this. He's talking about Seth Rollins, and it was your bog standard Punk promo. It wasn't like pipe bomb material. It was just a normal promo, very, very good. The Punk's one of the best on the mic in the world. But he's talking about Rollins, and all of a sudden, he turns to the camera and he says, "I'm better than you, and everyone knows it." And I wouldn't say there's a smirk, but there's a half sort of blink at the camera. And I cottoned onto it, so immediately I'm just like, you sneaky git. Basically, take a couple of words out. It's basically MJF's catchphrase. I'm better than you and you know it. Now, it could be nothing. Maybe Punk wasn't even thinking. I don't know. But it's got my gears going a little bit because obviously MJF signed his contract re-signed his contract with AEW. I want to say it was getting on for 18 months, 2 years ago. I don't know how long that contract is, but I have heard it's sort of 18 months to 2 years, and then he's a free agent. I'm not suggesting MJF is going to be leaving AEW anytime soon and going to work with CM Punk, but I am convinced, and no one tell me otherwise, that I love it. I love AEW and I watch WWE and I love all wrestling, but there is no way that MJF goes through his career without working in WWE. I mean, he's basically, if WWE wanted to make a like a cement mixer to grind out talent that they really want, who fits their style completely, they couldn't get better than MJF. I mean, if MJF was like an extra 3 inches tall, I mean, they would be chucking like millions of dollars to get him from AEW right now. But he is so far in their wheelhouse, it's unbelievable. So maybe it's maybe there's some. I'm trying to think of the right phrase. Maybe there's a kernel of truth in it. Who knows? I mean, it might be nothing, but like I said, it was a blatant reference to MJF's catchphrase. Anyway, CM Punk's talking, then all of a sudden he's about to leave. LA Knight comes into the ring. Punk goes mental because he's like, "This is my time that you're interrupting," and it did get a bit choppy at one point because Punk kept interrupting Knight's promo, and you could tell Knight was like. So I don't know if it was meant to be a shoot or whether it was a work shoot, but there was a couple of times Punk just cut him off, and LA Knight ended up saying some really, really strange thing. Like, I'm trying to think, like, "You've been the world champion 4 times," and I'm paraphrasing, "You've been the world champion 4 times. However, I've beat Seth Rollins twice." And Punk sort of looked like, "Well, yeah, I've beaten him 5, 6, 7 times, but what are we doing here," kind of thing. So that was kind of going off the rails. Like I said, I think it was done deliberately, to be honest. I mean, there's no way that Knight and Punk would not have discussed that beforehand. There isn't, especially with Punk's history with this sort of thing. I don't think Phil needs to be getting into another backstage argument about a promo, especially after what happened with Hangman and bloody Ryan Nemeth and God knows what else. So yeah, I would have thought he'd leave that well alone. But yeah, Jey Uso then comes in. He starts on both of them. Then his brother comes in. Jey Uso then super kicks LA Knight. CM Punk then says, "Do we have a problem?" He squares up to Jey Uso. Punk then punches him, knocks the glasses off his face, and then his brother Jimmy Uso super kicks Punk to the floor, and then both of the Usos leave. I hope I've described that correctly, because there was one point with this episode of Raw, I know it sounds ridiculous, I barely could keep up. It was just one of those, I was just like, what is going on kind of thing. But yeah, no, it was a really, really, really good segment, really enjoyed it. Ryan Sulat, hi bro. Hi Ryan, how you doing, mate? After that, it was Io Sky versus Kairi Sane. Superb match, thoroughly enjoyed it. Shout out to both ladies. It was very. How good is Kairi Sane at the minute? I was a bit worried for when she came back, and when they put the Kabuki Warriors together, I was like, I'm not sure about this. But do you know what? To be fair, the storyline with her, Io, and Rhea Ripley, whoever is the booker for that, I mean, obviously, ultimately it's Triple H, but sorry, Paul Levesque, excuse me. Anyway, whoever booked that, it was superb, absolutely superb. So, really, really enjoyed it. And Kairi Sane, fair play to her, she has stepped up to the plate massively. There was a bit in that match as well. I don't know if anyone saw it. Just let me know in the comments, either now or later, if anyone saw it. There was, I think it was in that match. There were all of a sudden there were loads of mobile phones going off. So you've got the ring here, and the back of it that you usually see on your TV screens. There were a load of people that had their mobile phones and it went totally dark. It was kind of like, again, God rest his soul, it was like Bray Wyatt, where people used to do the phones with his music and stuff. I was like, what the hell are they all doing? There aren't people doing that whole much. And then I looked, and like the arena seemed dark from the bottom middle section going towards the, I don't know, the right hand of the ring, and it all seemed to be in darkness. I don't know if that was done deliberately, but it looked like it wasn't done deliberately. So I don't know if they lost power or something like that. I don't know. It was really, really weird, but maybe it was nothing. Who knows? Yeah. So after that, there was the Cody Rhodes. Whoa, that's a hell of a spider. Um, sorry, guys. I've literally just seen the biggest spider going past my leg in the living room. I thought at one stage there was going to be a live murder. Then, seriously, I've never seen a spider that big before, and I'm so glad my missus has gone to sleep because she would now be screaming on the video. Um, yeah, go away, spider. Anyway, sorry about being interrupted by spiders now. Yeah, after that, there was the second part of the Cody and Seth video package that they did, and fair play again to WWE and the editors of that video. It was fantastic, and the way they linked everything together logically was good as well. They brought Roman into it. They brought Cody teaming with Roman after Seth had helped him, and Seth feeling insulted by it, hence giving Seth a reason not to like Cody. And they kind of linked a lot of it together, like storyline threads and segments that I hadn't even considered myself, to be honest. So I thought that video package was excellent. It was really, really good. I don't know if there's going to be a third part. Maybe it'll happen on SmackDown. I would imagine if it's the night before, obviously they need to have the press conference, which presumably will be before SmackDown. And I think SmackDown's on, I want to say at 1 o'clock in the afternoon English time. So you'd imagine the press conference might be at 10, something like that. I might actually be able to see that because I'm going to be travelling because I'm actually going back home to Telford. Shout out Telford in the West Midlands, by the way. Best region in the country, apart from that city, of course. Um, yeah, no, why was I telling you about Telford for? I've completely lost my train of thought now. Do you know what? It's not important. I can't remember. Anyways, sorry, I do weird stuff like that sometimes. If you've never seen my live streams before, I do go from one tangent to the other, so I do apologise about that. Next segment was the bit where Becky Lynch was going mental about Maxine Dupree, and the referee supposedly fast counting her, which she didn't. And it was the second week on the bounce, and I know a lot of lads will know where I'm coming from this, where basically Seth basically ignored everything his wife was saying, and I'm watching it with my missus, and she sort of looked around and went, that looks familiar. And I'm like, oh, I'd listen to everything you say. Yeah, I always have done, I think, mostly, fingers crossed. But it was, I don't know if they're doing it deliberately, but honestly, it's just like a wife who's just being ignored blatantly by her husband, which does make me chuckle a little bit. It probably shouldn't, but still. But from there, that led into the interaction with Heyman, and which I'm going to talk about this a little bit at the end. That led to the thing at the end with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. And Heyman at the start was looking to Seth, and Seth was like, Paul, am I going to win? He's like, of course you're going to win. And Seth turned and he was like, Paul, I don't want you to, well, basically kiss my ass. I want you to tell me what happens if I lose. And Heyman basically skewers Seth, basically saying that you'll be nothing more than a paper champion. Your legacy will mean nothing, and the vision will basically turn on you. And then he asked Heyman, well, what are you going to do? And he was like, if you lose, I will have to reconsider my position, and I will have to think about whether I made a good decision to leave Roman Reigns for you. And then Heyman walks off. I think it's work, personally. I don't think they'll disband the vision, which makes me believe that, I mean, all the evidence points to Rawlins going over, excuse me, in Australia. For a start off, he's lost the last 3 matches against Cody. Cody doesn't need the victory as such. Cody's probably just about fine where he is at the minute. Obviously, he's still got his thing going with Drew, so you've got an out with that. Maybe Drew attacks him and then they reheat that feud. Seth's probably the one that you need to build Seth up if you are going to make this vision thing work, because there's another thing with the vision where I'm just like, I'd like to see all 5 of them together more. So Bex, Heyman, Bronson Reed, Bron Breakker, because I don't think Bron Breakker was even on it last night. I'm assuming he's gone to Australia as well. But I would like, and Seth Rollins as well, obviously, but I would like to see all five of them together more because that they should really be harmonising as a group. And that I have quite enjoyed the Vision storyline last month, but I just please put them together a little bit more, WWE, if you wouldn't mind. But yeah, it does make you think. So, I mean, that was the good thing about the Raw. There was so many segments and plot lines. It does make me wonder about Brock Lesnar, and maybe he's going to show up. I mean, I'm hoping he's not going to show up for Cena, but he's obviously going to show up here and there, and obviously they would have to pay Lesnar a boatload of money. But I mean, this Australian tour does mean a lot to WWE, so they are sending all the big guns out, especially when you see the matches. So, I wouldn't rule out Lesnar helping the Vision and attacking Cody Rhodes, but I'd say it's probably more likely to be Drew McIntyre. I definitely think something's going to happen, whether it's the Vision interfering, because I think Cody can eat a loss, because I mean, he's won quite a few recently, so, and I think Seth probably needs more than him, so yeah. After that, there was the Jay, Jimmy, and Roman promo again, where they were having all sorts of problems before the match started. This one's wild, to be honest. I don't know how this is going to go. I really don't, because I thought about this. You've got Roman coming back, and he's involved in the Vision storyline. You've got Jimmy, who's been drafted from SmackDown back to Raw, and they've kind of restarted the Usos. But then you've got Jey Uso, who wants to be World Heavyweight Champion again, who's listened to the advice of Roman Reigns about only dealing with family and not helping people like he was doing up before. And you can kind of see a Jey Uso heel turn coming because they've sent him to the dark side. It kind of reminds me of a bit of like Luke Skywalker, a little bit weirdly, when he was got attempted to go to the dark side kind of thing, but didn't quite go. So I don't know if they're going to restart the bloodline. I don't know if Roman's going to turn on the Usos, whether Jey Uso and Roman are going to turn on Jimmy, which I just don't think makes any sense because I mean, where's the money in that? Do Jimmy and Jey turn on Roman after all he put them through? I think that's a possibility. Or do they restart the bloodline? In which case, what happens with Solo Sikoa's bloodline? But then I started thinking about that as well, and there was a promo that Solo Sikoa called when he was like, "We need one more person in our MFT," which was based off the bloodline. What about if that's not Jimmy Uso and whether it's Jey Uso? I don't know. Honestly, there's so many possibilities with that one. I genuinely, I like being confused by wrestling, so fair play to WWE. So I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen with that. Maybe there's a whole thing as well, which I'll talk about in a minute, involving Punk and Rhodes and Seth Rollins, which could be quite exciting. Next was Penta, AJ Styles, Dragon Lee versus Judgment Day. It was fine. It was quite a fun match. Styles' team went over, and then Styles got a promo on John Cena. It was kind of like, it was all right. That was my only regret of the night. I really wish AJ had had a face-to-face interaction with John Cena because those two had some really good promo battles back in the day. I would have liked to have seen a bit more build-up, but obviously John's only got a certain amount of appearances and dates, but you're like, well, could he not have just done a video link kind of thing, and then it's sort of not using his date up, I don't know, or just done a pre-package, or whatever it is, I don't know. Presumably they'll meet on the stage in the Australian press conference, if there is a press conference, which one would assume there would be. But there was miscommunication in that match as well, because obviously AJ's team went over, but Rusev actually came out to try and get Dominic Mysterio, because obviously Mysterio screws him over last week. He goes along to the ring, tries to get Dominic Mysterio. Penta tries to super kick Dominic Mysterio, who ducks out of the way and then super kicks Rusev. That means there's a match between Rusev and Penta, which obviously they've teased for a little bit now. I mean, that should be quite exciting. I think those two could work really well together. Maybe they work together till Sheamus is available again. Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Let me have a look. And then the last bit was CM Punk and LA Knight beating the Usos. I have to say the music reference at the start was awesome because basically LA Knight talks to CM Punk before the match and he's like, bro, we need to get on the same page. And Punk's like, yeah, whatever. So LA Knight walks out to his music and he's doing his pointing that he always does when he goes to the ring. But then all of a sudden, LA Knight's music finishes, and then Punk's music starts, and it's not even halfway through Knight's theme, and he looked really, really pissed off. And he looked at Punk, he's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And then the match was it was fine. It wasn't the most brilliant thing in the world. LA Knight took most of the punishment. The crowd was waiting for the hot tag to Punk. Punk gave the hot tag. There was a bit of miscommunication between the Usos, and then Punk drops Jay with the GTS. But then, really interestingly, Punk sort of leans back like this against the ring post because he was basically knackered. LA Knight flies into the ring and takes the pin from the Punk GTS. So he gets all the credit for the victory, and then LA Knight's music theme tune hits again, and he sort of looks at Punk and goes, "Haha, got you." So I thought that was a nice little wrinkle, to be fair to WWE. Like I said, all the stories really interlinked and work really well together. Where all this is going, I don't know, but I am quite excited by it. I'm going to guess on Monday afternoon for us in the UK that it's going to be... I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a triple threat match between LA Knight, CM Punk, and Jey Uso for the number one contender spot. Who they go with, I mean, at this point I've got no idea because they've kind of got this interlinking thing at the moment, linking loads of different wrestlers. Damien Castillo, hi Damien again, how you doing, mate? You alright? Yeah, the one thing I was going to talk about at the end, folks, was basically that there's kind of, if you look at it, it's like this weird Venn diagram, basically. So I've written down here, and I'll just read it to you guys. CM Punk, LA Knight. LA Knight, Jey Uso. Jey Uso, the Usos link onto Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has now been linked back again with Seth Rollins because he keeps mentioning him all the time. Seth Rollins is linked with Cody Rhodes. Seth Rollins is also linked with Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman has also worked with Rhodes the last 2 times. And then Paul Heyman is linked with The Vision. The Vision is linked with Becky Lynch. I can't put my finger on it. I just think there's maybe some sort of huge thing WWE are planning that maybe involves... I mean, we are building towards Survivor Series as well, which is obviously teams and stuff. I'm just wondering if there's some huge event where they're going to have the Bloodline... I mean, I'm just trying to think how they would do it. Maybe the Bloodline CM Punk versus The Vision, and then maybe the Usos turn. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but I definitely think there's something coming down the pike. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so I usually give a grade at the end. So for tonight, I'm going to give that show an A+. I thought it was absolutely bloody superb. So shout out to WWE. I'm not usually in the habit of giving them A+. I barely give them B+ half the time. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy the shows, but I haven't seen a lights out one like that for a long, long time. It was absolutely bloody fantastic. So if you've not checked out Raw, check it out, guys, because honestly, for my taste at least anyway, it reminded me a hell of a lot of the Attitude Era, and I just thought it was fantastic. Really enjoyed it. And for me, the match of the night, again, please feel free to disagree in the comments or whatever. I thought Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez was superb. Like I said, I cannot speak highly enough of Roxanne Perez at the minute. She is killing it, and I think she's absolutely awesome. Hey, there he is. I'm him. How you doing, mate? You all right? But yeah, folks, like I said, if you haven't seen it, check out Lyra Valkyria against Roxanne Perez. Perez is an absolute superstar, and the best thing I can say is at the moment that woman is a pleasure to watch. She is absolutely brilliant, and I mean, I think she's only, what, 23, 24? how good is she going to be when she's 28, 29? I mean, I think there's a situation developing now where there might be WrestleMania. There might be a WrestleMania. What am I trying to say? I don't know. Where she might win the title at Mania, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe she's Miss Money in the Bank or whatever. So we'll have to wait and see. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Um, Let me have a look. Sunflower, unusual name. Okay, mate. Okay to you as well. Hamza Wrestling. Oh, look at that. Said hi. That's a really good image you've got there, Hamza. How you doing, mate? You alright? I'm him. By the way, I watched the entire stream. I just turned time. Oh, that's fine. I'm him. Don't worry about it, mate. Not a problem at all. You can probably guess when I'm about to finish it, right? It's usually about 40 minutes. Now I go into my weird little spiel that kind of makes no sense, but still. Every time I don't talk. No, that's fine, dude. I appreciate you watching me, mate. It's been a pleasure to talk to you all. Put it this way, I enjoyed the live stream slightly more now than I did earlier this evening, which some of you who are subscribers may know what I'm talking about. There was a, just in case I don't want to get this one ruined, but there was a rather unfortunate incident involving an uninvited guest on the stream, which I was not. Yeah, I know you were there, mate. Yeah. I was not. I wasn't hugely impressed with, to say the least. So I cut a little bit of a promo back on the guy a little bit later on a little short, and I'd do the same again as well because people like that are a set of idiots. And yeah, so. However, he's now plastered all over my Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Twitter, and my video has been reposted. I think I want to say it's about 100 or 200 times. So yeah. Good luck to the gentleman. Hope you enjoyed your 5 seconds of fame. Anyway, sorry, I have got a bit of a heel turn in me occasionally, folks. I do apologise. I was a bit of a heel back in the day. Anyway, that sounds really weird. So, what I was going to say was Crown Jewel. Obviously, you guys know I can't cover it, unfortunately, this weekend. There's an outside chance I might be able to look at a little bit of it late Saturday night, but it would involve a lot of people at a party being so drunk that I can sneak away from the party and go and watch the highlights, which is very, very unlikely. So what I will do is I'll do a reaction to Crown Jewel Sunday night, possibly. Randomly, it might actually be from Birmingham. Don't ask me why. But yeah, I might actually have an outdoor venue to do the Crown Jewel live stream that also relies on me having watched Crown Jewel. Look, this weekend's going to be really, really weird, even weirder than the weekend that I've just had. So yeah, just leave that one with us. But just quickly, Crown Jewel. So at the moment we've got Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, which I can't wait for. By the way, this is a little side note. Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk has to happen at some point. Has to happen. And maybe they pull the trigger on it at WrestleMania, but before those guys get too old, especially Punk, because he's 45, I think he's my age. Don't get me wrong, I reckon Punk could go for another 5, 6, 7 years, but like it needs to be happening fairly shortly. You've got John Cena versus AJ Styles, which I can't wait for. Roman versus Bronson, I actually think will be really good. I'm really looking forward to Stratton versus Stephanie Vaquer, and I'm really looking forward to Rio and Io versus the Kabukis. Like I said, I've got a feeling that there might either be some interaction with some run-ins involving Knight, Uso, Punk or something, because I just think, well, if they're in Australia and Punk directly referenced Australia in his promo, surely you have CM Punk in some way on that pay-per-view. I mean, maybe Punk is the one who... Maybe I'm wrong, maybe Cody Rhodes does win and then maybe CM Punk splits apart the division or something. I don't know, who knows, but you would imagine there'd be either a 6-match or there'll be some sort of interaction. If not, like I said, I reckon it'll be Punk versus LA Knight. I reckon versus both Usos, actually. I said this earlier. Maybe it's a 4-way? I don't know. I mean, actually, now think about it, can you imagine after all this if Jimmy Uso was the one who got the title shot against Seth Rollins, and the absolute something storm that would cause, bearing in mind Roman Reigns would also be involved as well. I mean, not for like weeks and weeks. I would actually be here for Jimmy Uso winning the title for like a couple of hours and then Rollins getting it back, a la Triple H and Jericho back in the day. That'd be really cool. But yeah, that Soundwave costume was bossing your last vid. Oh, dude, honestly, yeah, I know, it was really awesome, mate. So when I got to the Comic Con, basically what I usually do is I'll have a walk round first, and then I'll do my shorts, like the 1 minute ones, and then I'll get the vertical videos. So I'll walk around for like 2 or 3 minutes and I'll stitch them all together. And I was about to start doing that, and then literally I've got my phone like this, and I look at the Soundwave guy, and literally I nearly like I mean, I nearly asked asked him to marry me. Christ, honestly, I was literally like, I was trying to follow him around, but then I got turned around and I had to go that way, and he went to the other. But Soundwave dude, if you are listening or if you've seen the short, shout out to you, bro. That was one of the best costumes I have ever seen. It was awesome, absolutely awesome. Short thing, yeah, I like my shorts too. Do you know what? Actually, you younger lads might be able to answer this. I get the live streams that there's a lot more people watching, but before I started all this, hi Johnny again, how you doing, pal? Because obviously I wasn't on YouTube about 3 years ago. I mean, dude, as in literally, I had never even posted a video. I had a Twitter account and I'd never even posted a comment. And then, like I said, I think a lot of you guys know, but I kind of started doing it as a means to sell stuff on eBay. So I did little videos and stuff. And then I took a walk around Ellen Road, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll just do a video here. Didn't think anything of it, posting it, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, 1,000 people have watched it. And then all of a sudden I was like, huh, I go to football matches and wrestling. Oh. And basically that's how all this started. It was a fluke, essentially. But the one thing that I've never understood, I kind of understand it time-wise. I don't know about you guys, but I like watching longer videos. So I like settling down for like a podcast. So I'll watch them for like Under the Kosh or Chris Van Vliet or Red Men or the Anfield Rap or something on the lines, because I want to sit there, have my dinner, have a couple of beers and watch them for about an hour and a half. And I've done videos and I thought, do you know what, they're really good. And they've had like 2 views and I'm like, oh. But then I've done a short of like, say the same thing of a football stadium, and it's like, well done, congratulations, 10,000 people have seen it. And I'm like, what? So I asked my son about this, and I was like, son, what's the deal? He's like, Dad, people don't want to sit there and watch an hour-long thing. They want to just have a few seconds. It's like TikTok and stuff. And I'm like, I mean, if that's what people like, then you give them what they like, don't you? So it's live streams and shorts. If that works for everyone, I mean, great, cool. That's fine with me. So there you go. I don't know why I was telling you that story first, by the way. It's quite late, so I think my brain's just gone a bit weird. Saint Show the Gamer, I was subscribed to you. Oh, thank you, Saint Show the Gamer. That's very kind of you, mate. Very, very kind of you. Cheers, lad. I'm just trying to look for if there's anything. Yeah, like I said, I'll do a crown jewel if I get time this week. Cause I'm severely running out of time at the minute because I've got my whole Telford weekend coming up. But crown jewel, just quickly if I don't get time. I think Rhea. I don't know why something's telling me that I'll have a lose in Australia to really annoy the crowd. Hi JR Garza, you alright? I spoke to you before, haven't I? Hi, how you doing? I've just got this feeling that Io Sky might turn on Rhea, and maybe they'll have like the Kabuki Warriors, and maybe they'll turn in some sort of weird knockoff of Damage Control. Maybe, I don't know. I've just got a weird feeling that might screw Rhea over, so I'm going to go with Io Sky to turn heel. I hope I'm wrong about that, because she's so good. I don't want to see Io Sky turning heel, to be honest. Cody versus Seth, I'm not going to do any analysis. There is no chance Cody Rhodes is winning that match. Put it this way, if Cody Rhodes wins that match, Ellen Rhodes down the road, I will run from my house, run onto the pitch without any clothes on, and sing We Are Liverpool, and then run back out and run back into my house. That's how convinced I am. By the way, I don't think Mrs. Meta would be hugely impressed with that. Oh, speaking of which, how's Mrs. Meta? Yeah, she is all right. She's currently asleep in bed and probably reading some weird science fiction novel or listening to a true crime podcast or something. We've got a very weird house. If I turn this round now, in fact, I'll tell you what, so you can see how the sausage is made. This is the other side of our living room. You might notice something about it. If you fix all Lego, yes, you are right. Our entire back wall of the living room is basically covered in, I would imagine, 20 to 25 grand's worth of Lego, which my son and my missus have been collecting for since he was about 3 years old. So they've probably got like, I would say between 40 and 50 boxes worth of Lego, which basically live in my house and I might as well pay the Lego rent. It is just insane. But yeah. But yeah, no, she's fine, thank you. What else was I saying? Cena versus AJ. They'll have to give Cena the win surely, because I mean AJ Styles doesn't need it as such. Maybe AJ goes over, but I don't really see what the point is there, to be honest. I mean, because obviously he did an interview with Chris Van Vliet. If you haven't seen that, I'd probably recommend watching that. By the way, his interview with AJ was awesome. And he asked AJ, how long have you got left? And AJ just kind of said, oh, I don't know, it might be a year, 18 months. And all of a sudden I was like, whoa, why are we retiring so early? And then all of a sudden it's like, because you're 49 this year. I was like, AJ Styles can't be 49. And then I looked and I was like, oh my God, I keep forgetting. 2005, 20 years ago, wasn't it? So, because I used to watch AJ in TNA, and honestly, it was so good. And I was absolutely gutted when he said it, to be honest. So maybe if AJ puts Cena over, maybe they give AJ Styles a huge win against someone when he retires, like maybe CM Punk or Seth Rollins or even Roman Reigns puts AJ over. I don't know, who knows, but hopefully AJ's not going to be going for a while. Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Roman, there's no way they'll have Roman lose 2 successive pay-per-view matches. As long as Bronson Reed gets a few hits in, and looks good against Roman, I think that's fine. Stratton versus Steph, as in Stephanie Vakir, that one I will throw open to the floor. Honestly, I haven't got a clue how that match ends. I did maybe think that Tiffany Stratton might turn heel, but then I thought, well, if I'm having someone turning heel on Rhea and a run in the Seth and Cody match, can they have a second heel turn in one night? I suppose they could, but I think that might just be a match for match's sake. I really hope Stephanie Vakir goes over, but I suspect it's going to be Tiffany Stratton. I think that's the golden child now for the women's division, and it's going to be for a very, very long time. Like I said, you've heard my opinion before. I think Tiffany Stratton should turn heel. It's nothing to do that. She seems like a lovely woman. She's a really good wrestler. She seems like a nice lady in real life. However, her wrestling persona, it's kind of the same. Sorry, I'm just getting my stuff. It's kind of the same complaint I've got about Dom Mysterio. And the crowd again in Dallas, Texas were like so hot for Mysterio. Bearing in mind he was facing Penta and AJ Styles. I said this the other week, I just don't get it with Dom Mysterio. Don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic worker, but in terms of what the crowd like about him, it's not like he's heel Steve Austin, who was going around smashing people with chairs. He's just a look. He's a nice lad in real life, Dom Mysterio, because I've heard him on podcasts. He seems like a decent lad, but his wrestling persona is he's just a slimy heel with a bad mullet and a moustache, and I'm just like, I've asked my son about this, and like he's got little lads and his mates who like Dom Mysterio, and I was just like, can I ask why? And they're just like, they just think he's quite cool, and he's into gaming culture and stuff, so maybe that's it. And I'm like, yeah, but he's a douchebag, basically. So I don't know, but I've kind of got the similar thing about Tiffany Stratton. So maybe people like Tiffany more than I think, but I just think that she will turn heel at some stage one day. So yeah, that's what I reckon for Crown Jewel, folks. Like I said, I'm trying desperately to see if I can do a a preview for it, but I'm already doing I'm doing a preview for a. I'll get this right in the end. I am doing a reaction show for AEW Dynamite tomorrow morning, hopefully about 10 o'clock, give or take. It might be slightly later, it might be slightly early, so just bear with me on that one. I was going to try and watch the TNA versus NXT thing tonight, which I really wanted to watch as well, but like I said, I'm going to have to change my work sleeping patterns and stuff, so I won't be able to watch it sadly. But I'm going to try and watch it after I've watched Dynamite. So I'll be getting up to watch Dynamite in about 6 hours, and then I'll see if I can watch a bit of TNA versus NXT, because I'm really interested in that. And then Thursday, yeah, that's what I'm meant to be doing, the Crown Jewel preview, but I may not be able to do that, unfortunately, because, like I said, I'm heading to the Midlands, which brings me to my next thing. So, obviously, everyone knows that I do wrestling on. I sound like a broken record this half the time, but everyone knows that I cover wrestling, but I also cover lots of stuff like football and horror and blah blah blah. I'm not going to do the whole spiel again. Except for saying that, like I said, I am back off to the Midlands this weekend for the bro's birthday. Happy birthday, bro. If you are wondering where the Midlands is, if you're from abroad, the Midlands is the coolest region in the whole of England. Liverpool is the coolest city in the whole of England, and the West Midlands is the coolest region in the country. There you go. There may be some people who would disagree with that. Anyway, what I'm planning on doing on the way, I'm hoping to go to about 3 football grounds, 2 on the way, 1 on the way back, and also go to a couple of comic book stores somewhere. So my plan is to get off the train. I'm going to try and go to Wolverhampton Wanderers. The reason that I want to go is because I've not seen the Diogo Jota mural just yet. And obviously I could do a live stream at Molineux. I've already got that on my channel as well. There's a football stadium tour of Molineux, which is a class stadium. But I'm going to try and take something like a memorial. I don't even know if they allow it at Wolves, to be honest, but there's like a mural that they've done on a pub that's just opposite Molineux. So I'm going to just go there and pay my respects and everything. And then I'm going to do a live stream from Molineux, and then I'm going to get back on the train, and I'm going to go to somewhere called the Hawthorns station, which will not be very popular with where I've just been, but I'm going to try and go to West Bromwich Albion, but do not tell each of them, even if you don't watch football, do not tell West Brom fans and Wolves fans that I'm going to the same thing on the same day. I don't want to get beaten up. And then I'm going to be going to submit some bits, and I'm going to be going to Shrewsbury, I think, Saturday. I might be able to do some stuff there. I don't know if I'll be able to get to the football ground. It's an outside possibility, but then on the way back, I'm going to go to Birmingham, so I'm going to try and get to Birmingham City. Probably not Villa. I don't know if I could do both the same day, because they're quite. Villa and Birmingham are quite far away from each other, but Birmingham City's not a million miles away from the city centre. So I'm going to try and go to there, see if I can see Tom Brady and shout at him. No, not really. And then I'm going to go to Birmingham City Centre. I'm going to try and get to Forbidden Planet. And there's also a Worlds Apart as well. Worlds Apart's this awesome, like, geeky store that you've got in Liverpool, and I just found out, to my amazement and sheer delight, that there is also one in Birmingham, so I'm going to try and get there as well. Time dependent. I mean, I don't know. I'll probably be leaving Telford about 1. Whether I've got time to go to town, I don't know, so I might have to do town first, then get to Birmingham City, then get back from Birmingham City to go on the train to get back to Leeds. It's going to be a bit complicated, this one. It's going to be even more complicated than the Sheffield thing, because there's like a boatload of stuff going on this weekend, but honestly, I'm looking forward to it so much. I'm looking forward to going home. As much as I love Yorkshire, it's always nice to go back home. Shout out to Telford, it's a cool little town. I was kind of brought up there as well, so I'm looking forward to going back. And I will see you guys for some of the live streams and stuff, hopefully. Also, can I just say, shout out to the Ghana Black Stars. Best of luck, lads, tomorrow. please just win this match so we can go to the World Cup. It's the Central African Republic, otherwise known as CAR. Um, like, please just win the match. If you win the match, basically you are in the World Cup finals, and we don't have to go to some horrendous match away from home against another team called Comoros, who we keep losing to. And then if we lose to both, we are out of the World Cup as well as the African nations, which would suck. So please, Ghana, win. By the way, if Ghana do win, please expect to see a short with me holding a bottle of red wine and a Ghana strip. Yeah. By the way, if there is any Ghanaians watching, and I think there are quite a few that subscribed, I went to Ghana versus Nigeria in the summer, which we lost, unfortunately. But yeah, it was awesome being around like countrymen, because I don't get to see many Ghanaians that often, to be honest. Really. But yeah, it was awesome seeing my country actually play football in England, as a half Englishman, as a half Ghanaian. Um, it was cool seeing something. I wish my dad could have seen it, but he's no longer here, sadly. But yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, I don't know why I was telling you that, but basically, if you want to see it, that's also on my playlist as well. So it's under Geek Boy Does Football, and the Ghana match is on there. Should there be any Ghanaians watching? So yeah, there we go. But yeah, please Ghana, please win tomorrow and do a brother a favour, will you? Yes, I think that's about everything, guys. So yeah, we have done two lots of live streams today. It does take it out of you actually. I'm very, very tired, to be honest. I think I've been on for about 2.5 hours today. Other than 15 minutes where Mr. Ku Klux Klan decided to get involved, sadly. It's been very good, and it's been great to talk to all of you, and shout out to I'm Him, Johnny, as always, top blokes, and everyone else that's interacted with me, that usually interacts with me. We're building quite a good community, and genuinely, I'm not just saying this to get you likes and subscribe. I genuinely enjoy speaking to all of you, and just thanks for being supportive. Yeah. Yeah, and that's about it really. Like I said, there's going to be I'll be back on tomorrow morning / afternoon for AEW Dynamite wrap up. Like I said, leave that one with me because I've got a couple of work things I need to do, so it might end up being the afternoon as opposed to the morning. Hopefully there will be a Crown Jewel preview. In fact, I may even jam both of those together potentially. That's not a bad idea actually. I'll try and do a bit with NXT and TNA. I'm not sure when I'll get to watch it. I might be able to get to watch it sort of tomorrow night. Oh, last one for Johnny, by the way. I have what I am up to. Cypher is speaking to the weird girl with the beanie hat who can control people's minds on episode 3 of Gen V. And I'm actually going to watch it now. So she's just walked into Cypher's house and he said some random thing about the carpet. Something to do with it looking like an afterbirth, if that makes any sense. Get in, yay. Have you seen Thomas Godorki? Was he the guy who, that weird scene at the start where his head exploded? Or when all those fellas took the, what am I trying to say? The bit with the syringe at the start, when it was like the 1950s or 60s, and they've got the syringe and it's experimental, and this fella comes charging up the... Yes, that's the one. Yeah, it was gross and also hilariously amusing, I have to say. Like, literally, so... I don't know why I do this with Gen V and the boys, but I sat down the other day. My missus has gone to work. Claire's gone to school. I'm not at work. So I thought to myself, right, I can have a bit of a sneaky lads day today. So I got a load of, like, nice boy food and stuff. Got myself sat down, shut the curtains, put Gen V on, thought, this is the life. And I'm just about to eat a toasted cheese sandwich, and you know where this is going. And then that scene happened, and I'm literally like, I'll eat it later. Do you know I once had this is really, really gross actually, and you'll know what I'm talking about. You know, in The Boys, in I think it's season 3 or 4, where the how do I put this? There's a gentleman in a room who has a very small gentleman walking within his person, and then the gentleman sneezes and grows to full height, and the gentleman who had the person in his person explodes. Yeah. I was having a juicy steak just as I was watching that. So yet again, Gen V and the boys. I'll just say a quick thing, and I'm sure Johnny will agree with me. Do not eat during Gen V or the boys ever. It was pretty gross. But yes, I have seen the scene. Yeah, the Tiny Man scene, dude. Yeah. I've. It's really, really good at the minute. So, I am actually going to get rid of you all now and watch the rest of it. So it's on your recommendation, dude. Anyway, so yeah. Do you know what? Actually, I should have done a thing on Gen V. Actually, I do Geek Boy does movies, don't I? Maybe I should do Geek Boy does TV. I need to get a light bulb symbol, don't I? No, I'm not sure about doing TV as well. I'm already doing like about 5, 6, 7 different things and 3 podcasts in space for weeks. I think that's probably a bit too much. But yeah, no, it's really, really awesome, mate. So if no one has a clue what me and Johnny are talking about, I'm talking about Caravan of Garbage. Absolutely, my mate. What we're talking about is Gen V season 2, and I would thoroughly recommend it to everyone. And The Sandman was also awesome as well, and I've got 2 more episodes of no, I haven't. I've just finished watching Wednesday season 2, but that's restarting again as well. So yeah, I've got boatloads of stuff to watch. And when work resumes, I don't know how on earth I'm going to fit all this in, but it's fine. I always cope, and we'll fit everything in together. Anyway, yes, like I said, folks, I've got my schedule here. So, like I said, Dynamite tomorrow. Sorry that I'm not looking. Dynamite tomorrow. Just bear with me. It might be in the morning, but it might have to be in the afternoon. I'm not totally sure yet what's going to happen with that. Crown Jewel preview. If I don't do it with Dynamite, will be on Thursday, probably in the morning. Friday, like I said, that'll be Toy Shots Friday. For those who don't know, I always put a boatload of toy shorts on because I love toys and comic books and collectibles because I'm a massive geek, as the name implies, blah, 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 blah. So there'll be 5 or 6 of them. There'll also be a live stream for Wolverhampton Wanderers, hopefully West Brom, possibly Birmingham City as well, but I'm not totally sure if I'm doing all 3. It's probably likely that I'll do Birmingham City and the City of Birmingham on the Sunday, or I might do the opposite way round, and I might do Birmingham first. I'm not totally sure what's going to happen, so I won't put any listings up, so just bear with me on that one. And then after that, as I say, I will be back for Monday Night Raw, having said I can't do it on a day anymore. Much to my amazement, like I said, Monday Night Raw from Australia next week, and put this in your calendars, people, as well, not to listen to me, but like, if you are watching Raw, if you're in the UK, Raw starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I don't know if people are at work and this, that, and the other, will work part time or do shift work. Basically, Raw's on from 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so I should be able to do the live reaction at 3:30 in an empty house for once, which is awesome. So yeah, really looking forward to that. So yeah, it's going to be a really cool week. Really looking forward to it, and then yeah, Geekoween will carry on after that. I've got all my horror stuff coming up. I've got crikey, Leeds Gothica. I should still be going to Barnsley Comic Con. There's a bit of an issue with that at the minute, in that I might have run out of money by that point. I'll be completely honest, I don't know if I can do Barnsley now, but I can definitely do Leeds Gothica and Leeds Light Night as well. And I can just about afford to go to see the Black Phone too. Well, I will just ask my missus for money because I'm not missing that. By the way, that's on the 17th of October, so there'll be a live stream for that as well. Whew, there we go. Anyway, folks, right, I'm going to head off. I'm going to try and get some sleep, so I've gone all hyper now. Shout out to I'm him, shout out to Johnny as always, smashing bloke, my dude. And just shout out to all of you for being supportive. And again, just shout out to every one of you who blocked and reported that complete idiot earlier. Like I said, his name is now plastered all over a lot of social media accounts. So yeah, wrong live stream, sunshine. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see you for a Dynamite tomorrow if anyone's interested. And if not, I'll see you for WWE Crown Jewel preview, and then if not, it will be Monday Night Raw next week. Anyway, folks, see you all soon. Love yous. Bye bye.